We'll go ahead and get started with our post-qualifying press conference. We're now joined by the pole sitter for Sunday's AAA Texas 500, Matt Kenseth, driver the number 20 Dollar General Toyota.
Thanks, Gary.
It's his first pole at Texas Motor Speedway, qualified with a speed of 199.299 miles per hour. Talk about the speed that everybody was finding there this evening. I know Tony broke 200 miles per hour.
Yeah, it's crazy fast. So, it's been a while since I paved the track, and the asphalt is very worn and abrasive and all that stuff. And it just amazes me every time you qualify here how fast you can run, especially when it cools off a little bit. And the grip level there is, especially being on 3-cycle tires. So yeah, it's incredibly fast. I mean, it's amazing. You can go around there with that much throttle in a cup car for sure.
We'll go to other questions. We'll start with Reed, then we'll go to Tom.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Given the abrasiveness of the track, why does it not fall off more than it does?
For qualifying, I don't know. For the race, that's pretty good fall off. But the track is very abrasive, but it just depends what you bring for a tire too. I mean, the tire and the downforce of the car and all that stuff usually has more to do with fall off, than anything. So I think there's some, fair amount of fall off in race trim, and especially when the sun gets on the track. But when it cools down like that and you're all taped up doing a qualifying run with all that downforce and it's cold outside and all that stuff, it just you get a lot of grip. And like I said, I figured there'd be more of a difference from stickers to scuffs. We haven't qualified that good this year, most of the year. So I mean, I run as hard as I can run every single round. There's some of those guys I think that have been real fast that probably don't give it their all the first round because they know they can make the top 24. So it's hard to gauge on their fall off. But for me, all three of those laps were all I could get.
We'll go Tom, Jeff, and then Jim.
Hi, Matt. Tom Jensen, Fox Sports 1. Congratulations on the pole. We always hear track position is so critical at all these tracks. Where does it rank here at Texas, given the fact that this is a pretty long race and the groove does move around a lot?
Yeah, I mean, 500 miles is a really long race. Depends how your car is handling, obviously. The better your car handles, the less important, track position is, and the easier it is to overcome, being in the back. But it is certainly important everywhere, with this aero package and how close all the cars are to the same speed. When you look at the qualifying speeds, it amazes me how close they are to the same speed. It obviously, gives the front guy an advantage. So it's nice to get that first pit selection. Of course, you always hope to, at least try to lead a lap and get that bonus point. So, I mean, there's a lot of good things about being out front. You can kind of, hopefully maintain that track position easier than where we have been starting most of the year, trying to, spend the first hour and a half of the race trying to get up into a decent position.
Yeah.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. Somebody tweeted a picture of you and Harvick talking, I guess, before one of the practices today. Did you feel like that conversation had any impact on him? He said after qualifying that it didn't, but from your perspective, did you feel like...
No, what? I didn't hear it.
He said it didn't. He said he still felt the same way as he felt after Martinsville.
Yeah.
Sorry. Do you feel like that you got your message across to him? I assume you hadn't had a chance to talk face-to-face before that time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll leave a conversation between us, but I just, I mean, I don't blame him for feeling the way he felt at Martinsville. I don't blame him the way he feels. I think the only thing that'll probably make him feel any better is if he wins Sunday or next Sunday and is leading the points going to Homestead. And honestly, that's the only way I'll feel any better about it either. So, it was I've already been through this, but it was a mistake on my part. Still, this day, I don't know exactly why the car got wheel hopping and how I got in a corner like that, or why I did and why I lost control of my car. And so anyway, I just I've been feeling rotten all week about it. I still feel rotten about it, and there's really nothing I can do to fix it. But I just felt like I needed to at least go have a conversation with him. We've got along well for quite a few years and raced together well for a lot of years, and I just felt like I wanted to go have a conversation with him. That's all.
We'll go Jim, Mark, Drew, and then Lee.
Jim Uttershaw, Observer. When Jimmy was in here earlier, he said if Matt is on the pole, then we're all in big trouble on Sunday for the race. Given how you guys have been this year on these type of tracks, is it still kind of an open question as to what Sunday might look like for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got to get through race practice tomorrow. I was very encouraged with how our car drove today in practice, particularly in qualifying trim. So, you know, being in race practice is a lot different. We got to get in practice tomorrow and hopefully get it driving as good as it drove tonight, you know, for the race, because 500 miles and all that stuff is way different than qualifying. But, you know, I felt like we had a pretty good test at Homestead, and we stumbled on some things late that seemed to bring us up a step and get us, you know, closer to the best guys. So you never really know, you know, to get all the way through practice tomorrow and get the race rolling and kind of see what you got. But I hope he's right.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Matt, you just mentioned, you know, you just call the speeds crazy, and I was wondering how you would explain to a race fan just what 199 plus is at a racetrack like this, and what do you think of the fact that, you know, Tony ran a sub 27 second lap on a 1.5 mile track to get over 200?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's crazy for as much horsepower as we have, and you know, like you say, that average speed around here, it is incredibly fast. So I mean, it always feels fast when you get around there that quick qualifying, depending on how your car's driving. But yeah, I never dreamed you'd see a lap time like that around here, you know, unless they paved it, you know, or something different happened, you know, to the racetrack. So yeah, it's incredibly fast.
During a lap, I mean, just how briefly, do you ever get off the gas totally at any point, or you just always in it with a little?
No, wasn't out of gas very much at all. No, I mean, it's pretty. I don't think he could ever, you know, before they changed the rules, I don't think he ever make it around a 1.5 mile track without lifting, you know, in one of these cars without lifting, you know, and being what I call wide open, no brake, wide open. You'd probably run at least 205 or more, but man, you're sure not out of gas very much right now, that's for sure.
What would be the corner entry speed about to run a 200 plus lap or 199 plus lap?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I could look, but I don't know right now.
Lee.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. Given your reputation, is there any reason why, you know, Harvick should think that it's anything other than an accident? And do you worry about what could happen between the two of you in the next 3 races?
Well, I mean, you'd have to ask him that, you know, for sure. I mean, I'm you know, right next to 100% sure that he knows it's an accident. I mean, I think anybody that's watched racing very much and knows it's an accident, but that doesn't really help him. You know what I mean? So, as far as what's going to happen in the future, who knows? I mean, we've raced each other good for a real long time. I mean, I can't, you know, nobody knows what a man's, you know, totally thinking. So, you know, I'm just going to go out and race the way I've always raced, and you know, go from there.
We'll go Lewis and then Nate.
Louis Frank of Reuters. After last year, we have the perception, because we don't get the dyno reports, that maybe Toyota went a little more conservative with the motors to make them more consistent. But after a run like today, if there was a gap at all, do you feel confident that you're fully back in the horsepower range?
Well, I don't get them either, so I don't know. I don't know what the other cars have. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, I think that you know, this year as an organization and you know, none of us, you know, in Toyotas have ran as good as we did last year, obviously. And, you know, when that happens, I don't think you can ever point it to just one thing. I think it's you know, a little bit of everything, and we've been working on everything, trying to get better. I think TRD's made some nice progress of getting the engines better. I think Red JGR's been getting the cars better and the bodies better and the setups better. I mean, I think you're always trying to improve everything.
Nate.
Nate Ryan, USA Sports. Matt, you've talked this year about how the team has kind of struggled to figure out qualifying. I know some of that's car, but some of that seems like it's strategy too. Is tonight kind of indicative that you guys have caught on to it pretty well, and that you kind of, I don't know if you snookered everybody, but you played it just right in that last session?
You'd like to think so. I mean, you always hope so, but I mean, this qualifying has been really strange for me. So when it first came about, I mean, I'm all about that, because I've always thought I've been a bad qualifier, and just to go do one lap and hit it perfect and be out there by yourself and all that, you know, it's hard. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, you'll get a few shots at it, and it's more like race conditions and stuff. It's going to be so much easier for me. And it's actually been just the opposite. You know, there's just so much going on all the time. And I think early in the year, especially, it was kind of, I don't want to say stressing me out, but kind of, because you're like, well, when do I go? When do I stop? When do I shut my motor off so I don't get hot? And, I don't want to pull it in front of that guy. You're always worried about all that stuff. So, Jason changed that on me, and I just do what he tells me now, and it's way less stress on me. Yeah, whatever he says, I'm like, do you want me to go or wait? Go, okay. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you want to wait as long as you can. That last one for cool down time for the tires and all that stuff, but it's only 3.5 minutes left in 12 cars, and there was nobody on the track, and, he thought that was a good chance to go, and that extra minute probably wasn't going to make much difference. Certainly not as much as getting caught up in some dirty air, so, that was probably the right time for us to go. I don't know how much difference it made or if it made a difference either way, but it seemed like it was a good time.
Stan?
Stan Creekmore with CompetitionPlus.com, Matt. So, having what you just said about your crew chief and everything, did you know that Tony Stewart had run a 200-mile-an-hour qualifying attempt in that second round? And did your crew chief tell you, don't worry about it, or what did he tell you?
Well, we all pretty much everybody on pit road now they get you a race view and a your timing and scoring monitor. So I mean, I saw lap times from the second. As soon as I get in, they give it to me, so I kind of watch and see what people are running for lines and kind of see what's going on and try to keep up with that. So I knew we ran in the 26s there. So yeah, I knew we ran that, but it didn't really affect anything that I was doing. Just going as fast as I could every lap, and that's all you can do. Whether you're half a second off or you're right there to try to sit on a pole, you can't really do anything different, except for try to get the balance as close as you can and try to hit the best lap that you can.